Hi, Julie Jones from SSB Performance, Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training. Here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week, brought to you by Game Day Sportswear. This week we're talking about the season has changed, and so has the mental game. So a new season, no matter what aspect we're in, brings something special. New teammates, new opportunities, new goals, fresh hope. Every August or September or whenever you begin, depending on your sport, athletes and coaches arrive believing that this could be the year. And maybe it will be. But before the first whistle blows or before the first pitch is thrown, it's worth recognizing there is something that has drastically changed in sport over the past few years. Today, athletes aren't just competing against their opponents, they're competing against a ton of uncertainty. Now, uncertainty's always been there, sure. But think about how different today's environment is. I really didn't think much about this new brand of uncertainty, if you will, until I had a bunch of conversations with the college athletes I work with that are getting ready to go back to campus, especially the fall athletes. And it's on their mind, big time. Most college teams now welcome transfers who may immediately compete for starting roles, just like the winger from San Jose State that one of my college kids has on her mind constantly right now. Freshmen arrive to campus with impressive resumes and high expectations. I mean, come on, they've been winning tournaments their whole lives, and they've had even more praise poured upon them as they've grown. Graduate students have extended their careers, which changes dynamics on a team. And this is the new normal now, because with this new NCAA 5 for 5, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's different. And we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that NIL in a lot of sports has changed and created new dynamics. And the bottom line is that not too long ago, many athletes returned each fall to a familiar campus, to familiar teammates, familiar roles, a fairly predictable path. But new circumstances, new college athletic cultures can reshape a roster overnight. Even at the high school level, in club sports, recruiting timelines, social media, all of this has created a constant stream of comparison and uncertainty. Today, very little feels predictable, and uncertainty changes the way our brain works. We know this. So instead of asking, how can I get better when I get back to campus, our brain starts asking, where do I stand? Will I play? Did coach bring someone else in to replace me? What if I lose my spot? Am I still good enough? All these things run rampant. They're not signs of weakness. Some of my toughest athletes are asking these same questions right now. These questions are signs that our brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Our brains crave certainty because certainty helps us predict what comes next. It's helping keep us safe. But guess what? Sports have never promised certainty. That's why we play the game. The better team doesn't always win. The best stats don't always tell the story. And no coach, no leader can predict exactly how anything, a season, a game, a play, will unfold. Why this matter to performers? Well, when the future feels unclear, the brain naturally begins scanning for potential threats. Instead of directing our attention toward the next rep, the next drill, the next pitch, whatever's coming to us, we start searching for clues about things we usually can't control. We're on high alert for a coach's facial expression, for who's getting the extra reps, for who's running with the first group, for who got praised or who didn't get corrected. Every little detail suddenly feels like evidence that fits whatever story we're telling ourselves at that time. Unfortunately, the more attention we give to uncertainty, the less attention we have available for performance. That's why one of the most important mental skills athletes can develop today isn't simply confidence, of course. It's learning to compete before certainty arrives. Psychologists call this uncertainty tolerance. It's our ability to continue taking purposeful action even when we don't have all the answers. Research on intolerance for uncertainty suggests that uncertainty itself isn't what undermines our performance. Instead, it's our response to it. Athletes who tolerate uncertainty more effectively experience less performance anxiety, they maintain more stable confidence throughout, and more recent research shows us that athletes who interpret uncertainty as a challenge rather than as a threat, those kids are better able to stay engaged, to adapt, and to focus on controllable actions. Competitors understand that uncertainty is a part of the competitive environment, and they also keep directing their attention toward purposeful action. Purposeful action, remember those words. In other words, the goal isn't to eliminate uncertainty. The goal is to stop wasting our time and waiting for uncertainty before we're willing to go and do what we need to do. Athletes who separate themselves in the season aren't the ones with the fewest questions. They're the ones that keep showing up while the questions remain unanswered. Instead of asking, am I going to start? They ask, how can I earn one more rep or point or something today with my effort, my preparation, my attitude, my communication? And instead of wondering, where do I stand? They ask, what does today's practice require of me, just like last week's tip? While tomorrow's role may be uncertain, today's opportunity is not. That's why coaches respond to an athlete's statement, but hey, coach, I never get a chance to prove myself. They say, you get an opportunity to prove yourself every day in practice. That opportunity is certain. You may not control every aspect of it, but you do get to decide what you're going to do with it. You can do whatever you want with it. I think there's another lesson here, too, in all of this uncertainty. It's not just for athletes, but for coaches and for leaders as well. The same uncertainty that athletes feel exists on the other side too. Coaches don't know exactly how transfers will fit in. They don't know how quickly freshmen will develop or when injuries are going to occur, that's for sure. And they also don't know what challenges the season will bring. So our leadership has changed too. The research doesn't suggest that great leaders eliminate uncertainty, because we know that's impossible. What it does suggest is that people perform better when they understand what matters most. So athletes crave certainty, but coaches can't promise that. Is that an impasse? Of course it's not. One of the greatest gifts a coach can give is to provide clarity. That goes for leaders too, of anything. Clarity about values, about behaviors that build trust, about what great effort looks like, about what today's work requires. Just like the UAEs that I borrow from Mark Bennett, a coach from Europe, he says, what do unacceptable, acceptable, and exceptional look like or live like? What do we have to do right now? What do I have to do to meet the standard? What do we need to do to work toward our position that we want or take advantage of the next opportunity? Because while no coach can promise who will be in the starting lineup 6 weeks from now or even tomorrow, every coach can help athletes understand what winning today's practice looks like or lives like, and every athlete can choose to do what it takes to get there. And maybe that's the shift we all need to make, athletes, coaches, and leaders alike. Stop chasing certainty, start creating clarity, and then do something that you can control. It all goes back to what the research says. It's all about what we can do, directing our attention toward purposeful action, no matter where we stand in the pecking order. Whenever you catch yourself asking, what if, replace it with, what is clear right now? Maybe it's your effort, your preparation, your attitude, or simply just the next rep that's right in front of you. Because uncertainty will always ask you to predict the future. And we can't play or lead in the future. We can only play right now. Our goal is to respond to the present in the present. So we have to prepare like someone who expects an opportunity, because our future may be uncertain, but our response doesn't have to be. And that's where great seasons begin. So if we can move forward with purposeful action, even when things are uncertain, we will gain momentum. We will put ourselves in a position to do what needs to be done. And whenever we do what needs to be done, we're one step closer to getting what we want, whether we control it or not. So until next week, think about ways that you can manage uncertainty. What questions do you need to ask yourself? What factors do you need to pay attention to? And more importantly, how do you meet exceptional behaviors? What do they look like? What do they live like? What's unacceptable? What's that look like? What's acceptable? What does that look like? What's exceptional? And then go out and take the next step toward those things. If you like to talk about any of this with your team, no matter what type of team you lead, email me at juliej@ssbperformance.com, or you can give me a call at 234-206-0946, and let's talk about how we can help your team, whatever your team looks like, manage the uncertainty that is certain. And until next week, have a great week or not, the choice is yours.